everybody, welcome. We're going to get into our Friday night yin practice. I'm Erin, and I'll be taking you through a sequence that's going to be focusing on hip abduction. So, opening out the inner muscles of the hips and thighs and lower body. So, we're going to get started on our backs. Taking a shape that's comfortable to you. Maybe a traditional shavasana with legs out long. Or maybe bending at the knees, planting soles of the feet wide and allowing the legs to fall in and rest against one another. And resting the palms of the hands either on the ground or on the body to facilitate some grounding connection with the earth. Let the eyes fall closed and start to tune into the breath. First, just starting to notice the natural rhythm and quality of the breath as it is today in this moment coming into class. Becoming aware of how fast or slow it is, how deep the breath is, and where you feel it moving into the body. Next, bringing awareness to everywhere that the physical body connects with the ground. The back of the head and the shoulders, backs of the arms, the hips, backs of the legs or soles of the feet, palms of the hands. And just noticing what that sensation feels like. What the pull of gravity feels like. What the support of the earth beneath you feels like. With your next exhale, release all the air out of your lungs, exhaling fully, maybe drawing the belly button in towards the spine. And take a deep inhale through the nose. An audible exhale out the mouth. Gently blink eyes open if you've closed them. And if you haven't already, we'll send legs out long on the mat. Bring arms up overhead, finding a full body stretch. Wiggling fingertips and toes, rolling out the wrists and ankles a little bit, just reawakening everything. And then we'll walk the hands and feet over towards the right corners of the mat, finding a side body stretch, banana pose. Option 2, cross left ankle over right, and grasp left wrist and right hand. And sending the breath into the left side body. And that gentle opening. And every time your mind starts to wander, just gently bringing it back to the breath, to the moment that we're in right now. We'll use an inhale to move arms and legs through center. And then exhale to walk them over to the left. Again, choosing your variation with the ankles and wrists here. And then settling into stillness. Still feeling that connection to the earth. And reminding ourselves that there is nowhere else to be right now. And there's nothing else that needs to be done. We can just be here in our practice, in the moment. And then exhale to bend the knees, 90-degree angle, shins parallel to the floor. Bring arms out to a T. And then with an exhale, we'll let both legs drop over towards the right. Keeping shoulders connected to the earth. Maybe stacking up a prop underneath the knees to allow you to do so. And in this twist, maybe gaze starts to fall over towards left fingertips. And continuing to send breath all the way into the base of the belly. And we'll use an inhale to draw the legs back up through center, using the core muscles. And then exhale to let them fall over towards the left. Second side of our twist, and then choosing whether you bring the neck into it by dropping the gaze over towards the right. Full breaths. Using your next inhale to bring the knees back through center. And then exhale, we'll send legs out long on the mat again. With an inhale, we'll draw the right knee in towards the chest, wrapping hands around that shin or thigh, giving it a gentle squeeze. And then bringing the right palm to the inside of the right knee, keeping that knee bent, we'll open the leg out to the right, opening up the hip. Maybe using that right hand to help keep the right thigh at that perpendicular angle to the rest of the body. Keeping both hips grounded here. Maybe putting a prop under the right knee in order to allow that to happen. Take 2 more full breaths on this side. And then using an inhale to bring that right knee back in towards center. Give it a gentle squeeze one more time. And then exhale to send it out long. Inhale, we'll draw the left knee in. And again, hugging arms or hands around that leg. Squeezing that knee in towards the upper body. And then keeping left palm connected, we'll exhale to open. Left leg out to the right. And once again, setting up a prop. If that helps you to keep the hips grounded. While still getting some sensation in the inner thigh. We'll take 2 more full breaths here. Eventually using an inhale to bring left knee back in, giving it a little squeeze one more time, and then exhaling that leg back out long. And from here we'll just roll to either side and then press ourselves up to a seated position. Maybe setting up some props for comfort. From our seat, if you've crossed your legs, we'll just go ahead and uncross them, bringing the soles of the feet together to touch, knees out wide in this butterfly shape. And heels can be in as close to the hips as you want, and maybe play around with the placement of them. It will change the sensation and the stretch and where you feel it in the hips and the inner thighs. So finding a spot that feels good to you today. And then starting with keeping the spine nice and long and neutral. We'll start to hinge forward from the hips as far as you can without rounding the spine, and you could stay right here, or you could start to let the upper back curl over the legs, letting the forehead and the crown of the head reach towards the floor. And if you want a little bit of additional support here, you could place some props underneath the forehead to take some of the weight off. Finding a place that you can stay for a couple of minutes. We'll take 2 more rounds of breath in our butterfly pose. And then using an inhale to slowly come back up to a seated position. Move your props out of the way. And we'll just send the legs out long. And just take some rocking or shaking motion, whatever kind of feels natural and good in the hips to release after that. And when you're ready, we'll start to make our way down to our bellies for our next shape. You might want a blanket on one or both sides of your mat for this one. Coming onto the belly, we can start propped up on the elbows just to set ourselves up. We're going to bend the right knee out towards the right, trying to get close to a 90-degree angle, toes pointed away from the body. And this is where it's nice to have some kind of cushion under the knee, just for comfort. And then from here, we'll just exhale, stack the forearms or palms on top of one another, and allow the forehead or one cheek to rest on the mat. Half frog pose. Just feeling that right hip slowly releasing towards the ground. We'll take 2 more breaths on this side. And after those rounds of breath, you can press back up onto the forearms. Send that leg back out long. We'll just pause for a moment here in a Sphinx pose. Kind of reset the spine and the hips. Option here to widen the palms out and press up into seal with straight legs. Palms for this one. Don't want them directly underneath. And then as you are ready, we'll start to bend the right knee up, or left knee, left knee up towards the left armpit. We already did the right side. Finding that 90-degree bend, and then lower the upper body down to the ground. And just find a shape with the arms and the head that's comfortable, that you can stay in for a few minutes. Letting that inner left hip open towards the ground. I'll take 2 more rounds of breath here. And when you're ready, starting to press back up onto forearms, releasing the left leg back long, and finding that Sphinx pose for a moment again. Keeping the muscles of the core active if this feels like it's crunching your lower back. And then sliding the palms underneath the shoulders. We'll press up through tabletop just to come to a seated position so that we can set up some props for our last shape. We're going to take a Supta Baddha Konasana with support. So you can choose what that support is. Maybe you just want to use a block under the mid-back. Maybe you want to use a rolled up blanket or a bolster or a bolster shape support, and just deciding for yourself how much of a chest opener you want with this. The more height you give your support here, the more opening you will have. So when you have that set up, we'll bring legs back to that butterfly shape, and if you've got a bolster, you can just kind of snug the tailbone right up against it. And then walking back along the hands to lay the upper body over your support. And if you're using a block or something smaller, taking a little time to adjust the position, get it where you want it. And then just letting the arms fall out to the sides. Maybe closing the eyes so you can really settle in here. Just bringing stillness to physical body and to the mind. We'll be here for a couple more minutes. So if you're starting to feel like you've had enough hip opening for today, you could move into fish pose by simply straightening the legs down towards the bottom of your mat, keeping the upper body where it is. Or if you're feeling great in Supta Baddha Konasana, you are welcome to stay right there. You can stay where you are for the rest of class if you would like. But if you want to move into a different shape for your final resting position, I invite you to do so now. Setting up for Shavasana. If you want any additional props, setting those up, and making your way to whatever that shape is that allows the physical body to be completely relaxed. Letting the eyes fall closed. And taking these last few minutes of class to just be still. Starting to deepen the breath once again. Bringing some energy back into the body. Starting to wake up by just taking small movements in the fingers and toes, rolling out wrists and ankles, rocking the head side to side, and eventually using an inhale to reach arms up overhead, legs long, full body stretch, and then an exhale to roll to either side, curling up into a fetal position, taking a few breaths. To slowly transition up to a comfortable seat. And once we're in our seated shape, we'll exhale all the air out of our lungs, drawing belly button in towards spine. Deep inhale through the nose, filling all the way up. Open mouth exhale. Bring hands to heart center. And taking a moment for some gratitude for our abilities to take some time out of our day to practice yoga. And bring thumbs to third eye center. And bowing forward. Namaste.